Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time to check out our midweek devotional this week. I'm Pastor Steve Sebring of Lansing Avenue Baptist Church of Jackson, Michigan. We're going to continue looking at Psalm 27, looking at verses 11 through 14, where we'll see that we must wait on the Lord, which in reality is the final conclusion of this whole psalm. But let's look here, starting in verse 11. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a smooth path because of my enemies. Do not deliver me to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and as such has breathed out violence. David runs to the Lord here, already having expressed his confidence in the Lord to care for him, because God's character had proven himself. He had answered prayer already. And David knew that he could seek the face of the Lord, that even when every other person, even his mother and father, had left him, that God would take care of him. Here he calls out to the Lord, teach me your way. He knows he needs God's direction. He knows he needs God's wisdom. And so he asks the Lord to teach him through this, to guide him through this. And he also looks to the Lord and asks the Lord for a smooth path. Not necessarily that this would be the easy way for him, but that the Lord would guide and direct and guide him onto the right path. That he would be worshiping the Lord, that he would be pleasing the Lord, that he would be using the wisdom of God, knowing that he had enemies that he faced, asking the Lord, depending on the Lord to not be delivered over to these adversaries. And in his time of trouble, he is honest with the Lord and he is open about where his heart is. He says in verse 13, I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. What kept him going? Certainly, he was seeking the face of the Lord. Certainly, he knew that God was the one thing he desired to spend time with him. But he also remembered and believed that God would work here, that God would answer prayer, that God would guide and direct, that God would bring about his perfect will in this life. I'm sure David understood that things may not work out exactly how he wanted, but he knew God would work and that he would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. God takes terrible things and works them together with good things and all mixes it all together for something perfect, working out his perfect will for his glory and for his people's good. Romans 8, 28, 29 tell us that he works all things together for good for those that love him. We often think of that as God giving us what we want. That's the good. But what we see there, in I believe it's verse 29, that what this good is being conformed to the image of his Son. That's the good. We get to grow spiritually. We may not have the possessions we want, things may not work out the way we want in this life, but good will come because God will work things out to his glory and for our good. And that's why Joseph could tell his brothers after everything he went through, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And David didn't lose heart because he held on to this. He believed that he would get to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. You and I must hold on to that hope, must remember who God is, remember how God answers prayer, and remember what's really important, that we know our God and that we are conformed to the image of his Son who died for us on the cross and rose again, so that through simple faith in him we are forgiven of sin, we are made right with God, and we have a home in heaven forever. We must hold on to hope, as David did here. And he ends the psalm with this wonderful thought in verse 14. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. You and I must wholly depend on the Lord. We must remember that he should be that one thing we desire, to spend time with him. We should seek his face, knowing that he is there for us, that he will care for us, that he is working things out in the big details and the little details. You and I must wait on the Lord. Continue to be faithful today. And in doing that, we can be of good courage. Again, remembering who God is and how he has worked. We saw at the beginning of Psalm 27, God's character and God's work had encouraged David to where he could go forward with boldness. God will strengthen your heart. So wait on the Lord.